First of all, thank you for taking the time to join this webinar and to hear me sharing my knowledge and intake on how to network online. So first of all, let me tell you something about myself and why you should listen to me. I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own company called Spin Ideas, and I'm the co-founder of Base Conference and Community. I'm a marketing strategist and I'm a connector, and my strong suit is connecting the dots. And this is basically what I do with both my marketing strategy activities and connector. With the marketing strategist, I'm taking the DNA of the company and connecting it to the values of the audience and play around with different marketing activities to make sure the message is there. And connector, I love connecting people. And I don't do it with a business purpose. I actually do it because I love connecting ideas and projects. So I will definitely connect with all of you. And if I see a connection with my network that, hey, this could be interesting for you to have a chat, I will definitely do that. And I'm inviting everyone to do the same. And now you see my house, but I always believe it's important to share something very personal. And for me, knitting is my form of meditation. It's the only thing that actually helps me stop my mind and take a break, because you do need to count and do different things. Already said, I'm going to skip this one. Actually not. Why, in my perspective, why I think Chiara invited me to have this workshop is because, I said, Spin Ideas is a marketing strategy agency. But besides that, because of the power of networking, I also created Meet the Spinners, where basically I do have a couple of people I'm working on a constant basis. However, for each project, I do strongly believe you need the right person. So this is why actually I created Meet the Spinners, where it's basically a platform of all the people that I'm working with. And it's easy for me to introduce them actually to my clients or prospects, or just bring them on a specific project, because I have them in one place. So for me, it's another way of connecting and networking. And I also created online networking with the Spin. This is a monthly free networking event, always first Thursday of the month from 12 to 1, so the same timing as Yara's, and with the purpose of only purely networking. So actually, Yara was mentioning that she's missing that element of networking, and all of you mentioned at a specific way, like, how do we network now? And I had the same problem. I'm also part of the Amsterdam American Business Club, part of the board, and I used to go monthly, actually weekly. I was attending a networking event. However, with the, I don't want to say social, but physical distancing, that become impossible. So I believe in solutions and not in problems. I sat down and I said, with the technology that I have, what can I do to create the same feeling? And this is how online networking with the Spin was created. Because what we do, we are meeting for 1 hour online on Zoom. And in this spam, we're going to network with people. I'm using the breakout rooms, and we're going to actually do that today as well. And you have 10 minutes to meet someone new. Like every 10 minutes you will be placed with someone new, and I think that's it at this point. So what is networking? The only problem how I have this, I can't see my notes, but how many of you are networking? I see 1, 2,
yeah, me too.
3. Lawrence, are you networking? Are you a networker or not really?
If I'm a networker, yeah, I think so.
Okay, so all of you are networkers. And I presume all of you used to attend like face-to-face events, correct?
Yes.
Are you networking online now?
16, I think, has a chat message, like we see the 2 screens instead of 1 only.
Okay, so
it's just your presenter view shows on for us, and the presentation view shows for you. So if you just swap your screens. or just take away the presenter one. Then you'll see your notes. That's what I'm trying to get at. Trying to help. And yes,
thank you for sharing that, because I was like, why I'm not able, I have 2 screens here.
Yes. I have 3 screens as well, so I know how difficult it gets making sure the right one is on the right place. So whilst you're sharing that, I'll quickly just say something about networking. One of the things, I'm part of the Professional Speakers Association for the Netherlands, also South Africa and the UK. And so we have events where we basically just get together and talk about, oh my God, all of us are dying because there's no events, you know? So what we also tend to do is we start off those events with a 5-minute networking. So basically you get 2 people thrown together in a room that have maybe never met each other before. And the first question you ask is, who are you? What do you do? And how can I help you?
I like that.
And then,
it's very similar to what I do.
Yeah. And that
and welcome on board.
Well. Thank you, by the way. Sorry I was late.
Okay, I'm trying to figure it out how to.
So then the networking, now at the Collabwith, I think beginning of September, we start with the Tuesday after innovation tea to have more like meaningful conversations about innovation. And we are not like focused on this kind of speed dating networking, but more to have a coffee, no? Like we can be in the kitchen table or in a cafe, and then we pop up the questions about, depending of the audience, because it's always a surprise, to say, okay, what do you think, what is the next thing on innovation, or what is for you innovation, or how you can collaborate between academics and startups, or what is competition and collaboration, what is competition at the end. So we are adding more of these philosophical questions to discuss. So you are meeting the people and to know them in a different level, like it's only, I am here, that's my name. So that is working quite well for creating collaborations at the end. And we have like, you know, everyone has to talk. No, it's not only one talking. And I like this format, so I would like to keep, or maybe to add extra formats, but this one is quite interesting. Like it's every week, you know, you can jump into if you want.
Sounds good.
Or at the same time. So every Tuesday at 3 p.m. set CAT.
Guys, what do you see now?
Your screen, perfect. Done, Veronica.
So now you see what is networking, and that's it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, it's not my technical day, so I'm gonna try to make it the best out. Okay, so if all of you are networking, I would like to hear some definitions of what networking means to you.
Meeting people.
Okay.
Connecting with people.
Connecting with people.
For me, it's the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information or develop professional or social contacts. But this is a definition that I know because I also used to write about networking.
I think this is what they are teaching us, because always I'm going to the dictionary. So I think this is the Romanian way of teaching. Go to the dictionary first.
A bit.
Okay, so if I hear from all of you, it's about meeting people, connecting, building,
creating relationships.
Creating relationships. I have to say I agree with you guys, and this is actually what let's say an official, I'm sorry, technology is not really working with me today. What networking or means. Networking is meeting and forming contacts and relationships with other people in your field of business with the purpose of identifying, creating, and or generating businesses. I will go I always like to have my own definitions. And what networking for me means, it's about being present and being curious. It's about being very personal and about building relationships, because meeting someone is not the same with building relationships. In order to build relationship, you need to be present in that discussion, to really listen and be curious and ask questions and share, be vulnerable sometimes, and you start building the relationship for there. I think networking is a form of art. I don't think it's a fixed science. I don't think we can have a recipe, and or even if you have a recipe, we need to add our own flair to it. Otherwise, it's quite plain. And it's the same as marketing. We are working with people, so we need to be able to adapt, and we need to be able to understand them and have a conversation and adapt to it. And I know I had I'm gonna try something else, because okay, I'm gonna share again. Sorry for the technical issues. And why, can you present? And why do I think it's personal? It's about building relationships, because actually networking, I used to go to a lot of networking events, as said, and not only in the Netherlands, but also in Belgium or even Germany, UK, so quite broad. And you'll see there around 2 or 3 types of people. You have the native salesperson that we're gonna go there, and all they were gonna do is share business cards and talk about themselves or their product or their service or whatever they are doing, not really listening. And the only people they will actually pay attention to, they will be the ones that are interested in buying their product or service. Do you recognize that profile? Did you actually had that, the type of discussions? I see people nodding. So that's one type. And then you have the shy people that they will just stay in the corner and not do anything. And then you have the real people, the real connectors, that they were gonna go and just want to have a discussion with you. And I think those are the most powerful type of relationships. And it doesn't matter if you're online or offline, but that's actually the type of relationship that I invite you to have. Go and be curious, because it doesn't matter what you're really doing now. Of course, keep in mind who can be interesting for you, but just go and start building relationships. Because let's say now I'm just gonna give a random example. You're selling houses or whatever you're doing now. In 1 year time, maybe you want to actually switch career, or you want to start your own business. And if all your life you focus just on one industry or one type of person, you'll have a big problem with that. However, if you enter the networking events, being curious about people and just building relationships, it's very possible you're already going to have your first client just by announcing what you're doing from your existing network. Or maybe someone in your network knows someone needing your services, and they will be able to interact, to introduce you. So this way, it's very important to actually be active. It's a very active, not passive way of doing it, because you need to go and interact and give your business, connect people and introduce them. How to approach online networking. So how many of you are actually working online at this, networking online at this point? I see so-and-so. I see Anna saying yes.
Yeah, comme ci, comme ça.
Christina, I don't see Lawrence anymore.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, well, I have these events, and then I think one-to-one introductions. No.
So one-on-one.
Yeah.
Things like that. So this is how you're approaching this point online networking. I think we need to make a differentiation for online networking. As you said, there are two types. The ones that where you have the conferences and the events online, and the ones where you need to approach, you do the one-on-one approach. But before we discuss each of them, actually the same rule of engagements apply. So when you have, these rules are especially for when you're attending an online event or when you're attending a conference. There are a couple of things you need to consider. Because when you're meeting, when you have the face-to-face events, the face-to-face networking is quite simple because you see the person, you read the body language, you see like, I'm using my hands quite a lot. So it's very easy to read my state of mind, or to see I want to talk with you or not, or if a discussion is not interesting, you can come up with an excuse and leave. It's different. So how do we approach, and what do we need to make sure it's in place before we start networking online? First of all, you need to have a good internet connection. That's very important because not a lot of people are native speakers like myself, and sometimes maybe you're not going to understand everything that I'm saying. So if we add to that the poor internet connection, you're going to hear probably only half of what I'm saying and then guessing everything else. So that's quite important. Again, have your full name, and I do like to see that everyone actually has the full name written, and it's also, I advise to have an image. So if you're not able to have the video, make sure you have a photo there, because a lot of people, what they are doing, they will see your name and they will see your image, and then they were going to go and Google you or look for your name on LinkedIn to connect with you. And let's make it easier for them, like to recognize the image that they see there with the picture on your LinkedIn. Actually, I'm using the same picture also here on Zoom and on LinkedIn as well. Your camera and microphone, make sure they are working. You're going to have conferences where you're not allowed to have the camera, only in the networking section. But it's very possible to have events like these ones, or like Yara is organizing different innovation workshops or networking events where it's better to see them, because it's easier to create a relationship with a person when you actually see them. And we just discussed about the importance of seeing the house as well, because you have a different understanding of that person. And another trick that I like to have, and I advise you to do, have your LinkedIn page at hand, because you never know who you're meeting, and maybe they will say, let's connect, but I have only 2 minutes, I need to leave, send me your LinkedIn account, your LinkedIn profile so we can connect. So I always have a page open in the browser with my LinkedIn account. This is actually before we start networking. During the event, how many of you are using the chat option that you have? All the events online have a chat option. How many are using it? I see Yara.
Yeah, me too.
Dina. Axton, I hope I pronounced it correctly.
Asun.
Asun as well, but also Axton.
Extin,
sorry.
You are on mute. You have to unmute yourself, Extin.
It's just the E's are a little bit longer, so it's just Extin.
Extin, thank you. Feel free to have your microphone open, by the way. Like, I don't mind you chatting, and you see I'm asking questions.
My husband is sitting in the room next door. Okay, and when he's like talking really loudly, it'll affect you guys. So I'd rather listen to you. That's what also got these on. I don't have to hear it myself.
No same thing here. My son is right next to me, so.
No worries. I just shared, I have a puppy, so you're probably gonna hear barkings from time to time.
Veronica, but this question about the chat is quite interesting, because I was thinking myself how much you have to interact, you know? When you are in a conference or in a webinar, I like to say, to comment, no, about what is saying in the conference. And we are only 3 people commenting, you know. So sometimes, there are little, and then I don't know if it's as appropriate or it's too much, or if everyone is commenting, then it's a chaos, you know? So
yes and no, actually. You make very valid points. And we had, so base conference that I mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders. Last year, we had it face-to-face. Yara, you were involved in both of them. This year was online. What we noticed, when we have the face-to-face, the level of interaction is lower during the sessions because everyone is very set to listen, and you have only 15 minutes at the end, 15, 20, depending on the sessions, where you're able to ask questions and interact with the speakers. The beauty of online, and by the way, not everyone is so open in sharing. Some people are very shy and they are like, maybe I will be, I'm putting myself in the spotlight, and they are not so willing to share. However, when you are offline, no, sorry, the opposite, when you are online and you are in the security of your home, and probably actually the rule is you don't have the video on when you're attending these bigger conferences, but you have that chat. I see a new world emerging, honestly. People that are shy, or they have amazing opinions and know-how, but they are not so willing to be in the center of attention. However, they feel very comfortable writing. And if you really have the time to go over the chat afterwards, you're going to see the wealth of knowledge and also the connections that are taking place. Because let's say, Asun, you're sharing something and you have Christina, hey, I'm actually in the same field and I'm working, and let's connect and have a coffee. Or Yara is coming with something, or Anna, or Lawrence, or X-Teen. Super. So it's a very great way to get to really know a person, because sharing opinions and knowledge, that's the way we actually start building relationships. It gives us common knowledge, common factors, common values that we have a starting point for building that relationship. So my advice is to use it as much as possible. And I placed it here, the second one. It should have been the first one, actually. Also, if you don't want, you say, hey, I don't really want to share with everyone. You have the option on all the platforms, actually, to send a private message. Like, for example, now, if I want to ask Yara, how am I with the time? I can just send a private message. And by the way, please do let me know, because I tend to talk too much when I need to stop. Use that one to also connect to a person and say, hey, I really like what you stand for. Let's connect on LinkedIn. And here comes, share your LinkedIn profile, and feel free to, it's good to have it on hand, not to start Googling it and finding it. I actually, because of different online networking events, I set up during that networking via the private chat meetings already. So take advantage of those things. Ask questions.
One thing here of the private message, like sometimes you record it. So I think the host can see, so I think for code of conduct, sometimes to have, you know, like maybe it's private now, but could be public for the host.
This one is good for the host, yes. Keep in mind the host, yeah, you make a good point. Yes, the host probably, let's say 99% of the cases, apologies for the dog, I said, 99% of the cases, they will go over those things. So it's not a private platform. You basically give your consent to the host to access your contact details and everything that you're writing there. So this way, even if you send a private message, make it, let's connect on LinkedIn, or I really agree with your points. It's don't see it as having a whole conversation, but as interaction to set up the next step. Make sense? And any other questions here? Connection, maybe we can. Thank you for the link. Definitely, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna make sure I'm copying all the links, because not to lose them. So I think this is everything that I wanted to share in this part. But the most important thing when networking, and this doesn't matter if it's offline, online, in a conference, or one-on-one in a place, is the follow-up. Because I'm pretty sure I'm guilty of that, and I'm pretty sure all of us are guilty of that. We are spending time connecting with someone and having a great start of a conversation, but we leave it out there. We don't do anything about that. So what is very, very important is actually to have a follow-up. Connect with the person that you met during the conference. You don't need to do it necessarily during the conference. Just open the links, the LinkedIn's, or take a picture with the names, and you can research them afterwards and reach out to them. Send a personalized note. I think this is very important because I'm pretty sure all of you are meeting a lot of people on daily basis online, and it's overwhelming. That's the problem with the online. You are in front of a screen without a personal touch way too long. So why make it harder? Make it easier. Tell them like, hey, we met at that conference. We had a short chat about that, or I saw your comment about a specific topic. And if it's not in the environment of a conference or of an event, you can say, I just noticed a post of yours, or I read an article or saw a video. And I think it's very important. I really agree with what you said, and I would love to have a chat. And set up a virtual call afterwards. And I'm going to share a couple of things that from my experience, what I'm doing when I'm having a virtual call, not to get overwhelmed, because I was actually overwhelmed at the beginning of this. Again, be yourself. Don't try to have that facade. And that's the part that I really love from online networking, because you can't hide. You can't just put a very fancy dress or do your hair and do your makeup and you are someone else. Like Asun, how you said, German people tend to do that. You actually you see my house, you see what I like, you get to know me. And then you really, I feel that's the moment you are able to build a real relationship. So I see it as a positive, because instead of having like 3 meetings to actually have a very personal conversation, you can already have it from the first one because of the environment. And another thing with online networking, it's actually opening the door to network and reach out to people that otherwise would have been very hard. For example, the base conference, and I'm pretty sure, Iara, you have the same here in this community. People that are based in different other countries are more willing to engage because they don't have that, the networks they are usually attending or going to. And they're open, their time is different. They perceive the time different, and they are actually willing to reach out to people or to respond to people reaching out from other parts. Again, be curious. And when I say be curious of who they are, what they are doing, what their passions are, because sometimes you're going to see a connection or have an idea of what to do, not because of their day-to-day work, but maybe from something that they are doing outside work, like Extin shared, he's doing so many other things, business, TEDx talk, for example, that this is not part of necessarily his work, because probably this is more about his passion or different other things. And then you are learning so much about that person and you come up with ideas. As I said before, I'm a business strategist. So that means I'm working quite a lot with strategic partnerships. It's something that I strongly believe. So that means you need to tap into different other networks or hubs that are existing to create a relationship between your business or your client business and those hubs. And sometimes actually not sometimes, always, the more interesting that connection or that angle and more out of the norm is, the more successful it is, because you're just offering something else to everyone. And again, what you need to do is focus on building up the relationship. So you don't need to go and say, I never have the first call, the follow-up call after I'm connecting with someone on a conference with the idea to sell. I'm just curious. I want to build a relationship with that person. I need to understand what they are doing, who they are, and what they are interested in. And this is why when Exin shared what they are doing with those 5 minutes and the 3 questions they need to answer, I love that format because that's actually the mindset I advise everyone to have when they're entering this type of conversations when you start. Any questions so far?
I want to share something.
Yes, please.
Also based on experience. It's not always that you need to do this, you know, all the checklist that you put here. Now, the thing is also the message, the non-verbal message that you transmit, and the fact of building the relationship. Because the nice part of networking is when people come to you because, you know, they find that you can help with whatever, either connecting, you have the solution for something, you can help here with anything. So for me, that's, you know, I'm proud when people come to me because I have the solutions, you know, connecting points, because like you said, I also feel myself as a connecting thread with others, right?
Yeah.
So it's for me, the proud side of everything, you know, is when people come to me for because of, you know, it's probably the result of all these tasks here.
Yeah, and that probably, I have a slide about that. You're visible and you're really communicating what you're doing. And that helps people come to you, because we need to have engagement. We need to have two sides conversation, not just one side. I can't be out there and just shouting. And if you see here, what I wrote is more about actually me asking questions, because the moment you are asking questions and you are listening, the other part will ask questions as well. Or if they are not, maybe it's not the right person to connect with to start. We're always going to have those profiles of salespeople that I showed in the beginning, and that's fine. You can't avoid them. You just accept them. And if you see an angle that you think that person is very interesting for a specific project, just go ahead. If not, you just put them in that box. You know who they are, and you go and meet. You go and network with the rest of the people. But thank you for that's a very good point. I do like that. I would like to share with you actually my tricks. So the virtual call, about the virtual calling, actually this is a story, because at the beginning I was treating these calls as a meeting. Like, you know, when you're meeting someone and the first 10-15 minutes you're like, let's get the coffee. Would you like a coffee or a tea? And the chit chat around it, and you know how it goes, right? And then you basically had the half an hour, 45 minutes meeting, and then the next steps. However, online is not working like that. But I was treating it like that, and I was actually burned out. Like, I couldn't take any other meeting. So I sat down and said, like, this is not working. Like, how other people are doing it, and how can I actually make it better for myself and not drive myself insane, and have time to actually stay with my partner and stay with my dog and do other things. And I'm sharing this, like, adapt it. Everything that I'm saying, feel free to adapt. But this is what I came up with. Keep it short. Actually, you can do everything that you do in 1 hour meeting in 30 minutes, maximum 45 minutes. Honestly, you can do the same thing. Like, you already have the coffee. You don't need to prepare the coffee, right? Or the water. And how are you doing will be way shorter. Enter with a goal. So the goal, if you already know you want to do business with that person, be honest about it. Don't waste time, because time is so precious. Or if you are just curious, say that, hey, I'm curious. I just want to know what you're doing, and maybe we can work together or not. So set up the goal, have the agenda, and make sure you're communicating it. And always what I'm doing, I'm setting up the next step already in that call. So if I know I want to work with that person, even if it's in 6 months, I'm setting up a follow-up call, or even if it's in 1 week, or if depending on what we want to do. It makes my life so much easier, because that means I don't need to follow up with an email asking and setting up different Google calendar options, and it just makes it easier. Is any of you doing something similar?
When we started in May, when we started the lockdown, so before all this new situation, I used to have catch-up lunch or catch-up coffees on site at work. So when we started the lockdown in March, I dropped emails to people to say we cannot have live catch-up, but that's an email to see how you are doing, things like this. Just, you know, a touch to say, cling, cling, ring the bell, cling, cling. Some of them replied with a 15-minute invitation for a live chat over the camera.
Perfect.
Which was okay. It was just to say, hey, it was at the beginning of everything. We didn't know what was going on. Everything was new. So it was, you know, 15 minutes to say, how are you doing? Are you doing fine? How are you physically? How are you mentally? Right? Because we were locked down for days, weeks, most of, or many in a country which is not our home country, having our families in our home country. So I don't know. The thing is, once we got used to, you know, live at home, work at home, had to stop. So maybe it's time to do it again. Actually, I raised this topic in my team because the past lockdown was the easy one. You know, there was daylight until very late in the day. It was good weather. You could go outside. Now we're going into the dark side of things. So mentally,
lack of vitamin D.
There is mental fatigue of lockdown and the whole situation. So the tough one is ahead of us. So probably it's time to start doing something like this.
Yeah, true. I just realized the time, and I do want to make you network actually. So I have just one more thing to share, and afterwards I'm going to ask you to network. I'm pretty sure you notice networking during events is really different. And there are a couple of things that you need to consider. The most important is wait for your turn to speak. And this is one of the most important, because when you're in a circle, like the glass of wine that Chiara was sharing right of the coffee, and somebody's keep on chatting, and you need to stop that person and you need to share something. It's quite easy to do, right? You are polite, or you see when he's stopping to breathe and you're saying something. However, online is quite hard to do that. This why is whenever I'm organizing events, and for the networking part, usually I have a facilitator, depending on the events, and probably you notice that, or a moderator. That will kind of, your time is up now, so how about you let someone else share, or you have a specific question that everyone needs to go in rounds and you are aware of the time, or you have the broadcast message, 5 more minutes, you know, it's a mental pressure on you to, I need to give space to somebody else. And that's actually, you need to be out there, but you need to take your space, but also you need to make space for others. So that's very important. Another thing that I will advise you to do is take notes. Like I always have, I'm obsessed with agenda. So I always have, actually I still have, like, should I keep on coming? They keep on coming. And I still have another one. Exactly like Chiara as well. Take notes, because we forget. And what I'm noticing also with my clients and everyone, and also with myself, and I do want to hear if you are doing the same, I'm forgetting even more now. And I'm starting to like, this happened this morning, or was it last week, or was it 1 month ago? Because we are spending so much time in the same environment. It's hard for us to place a specific event in time, because usually you have that event with that location with those people, but now everything is just all in one. So really it helps taking notes. And then when you need to write that personal message, you just need to go to your notes and say, hey, they made that particular comment that I really enjoyed, and write that. Non-verbal communication. And this can be like the emojis, the raise a hand, or things like that. Or when you have, like, majority of you have the microphone on mute at this point, but you communicate with me, you said yes, or I don't see something, or you have the chat option. That's very important. It's very important also when you have someone and you see they're actually on the phone or on a different screen. That's also non-verbal communication, sharing, like, I'm actually interested in what you're saying or not. And it's harder to you need to be much more aware of this now, because we tend to interpret that, right? Everything, right? We make our own story in our head, and it's harder to prevent that. Use the raise hand option and actually interrupt if something needs clarifying. And I put this one here because I think it's very important. Don't be afraid to leave a chat if it's not for you, or an event. Just write and say, thank you, I'm sorry, I have a call, or I can't stay, something came up. Be polite, but time is so precious, don't waste it. It's the same. It's much easier to do it in a face-to-face event, because you're just, I'm sorry, I need to use the restroom. There's the excuse everyone is using, right? And you're just leaving that particular conversation. You can't really say the same on the chat, but the rule still applies. Don't waste time. And now I'm gonna stop this actually. Sorry, because I want to ask you to network. I'm gonna explain the rules. So what do you do when you start networking? You need to introduce yourself, correct? That's the first thing. And here, actually, please, all of you, put the microphones on, because we'll have to have that. And Christina, it'll be great if you can actually have the camera, even if you have your son there. I would love to see your son. But will be better. And I'm going to explain why. It's very, how I start all my projects is actually working with a client and identifying their DNA and who they are. And this is what I invite you to do now, because that will help you when you're entering a networking event or any conversation and you need to introduce yourself. So what we're going to do, we're going to have 2 sessions of 5 minutes each, or actually let's do it of 4 minutes each, in which you need to introduce yourself, like 1 minute to introduce yourself. So we're going to make it 2 minutes and a half. And the second time when you're introducing yourself to a different group, you need to use totally different words. You're not allowed to present yourself using the same words. I'm going to explain now because we don't have time. The purpose of the exercise is to actually discover words and ways to introduce yourself and how you want to be perceived by others. Because we have a sales pitch in our heads. Try to forget the sales pitch and try to use words how you want to be described. How do you want to be seen by others, you and your activities? Any questions? Make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. So what we're going to do, you'll be placed, now Yara, we're going to create the rooms. We are 6 people, so 2, 2, 2. We're going to have, let's put 2 minutes, and then everyone we're going to be here, and then we're going to do the breakout rooms again with other people. So 5 minutes in total we should have for this exercise. So let's put
okay, now I have to put the people together.
Yeah, will be great people then don't know each other, so we can, the 2 of us, we can be in one group.
You don't know each other, I think. Maybe.
And Yara, let's be the 2 of us together, because I need to tell you how to stop them.
Okay. I cannot assign myself. I don't know how to.
So if you go manually, say create one room.
Yeah, I know. I have all of them already. Open the rooms. So maybe we stay here. Okay.
Yeah, we stay here. We stay here.
Teleroom. Then open the rooms. I think it's.
Yeah, click open the rooms and everyone will. How did you find it?
Well, very short, 2 minutes.
We don't have time. I promise we're gonna, okay. I'm gonna share something where you can do it more. And now I saw actually Extine what you wrote. I know those events, actually. I was there, so probably we met or we saw each other.
The face looks familiar.
You see, I've been to EHS several times, actually.
What the event she's talking about is the Industrial Club in Amsterdam, the Royal Industrial Club and the American Club have an event at least once a year together.
For the Dutch-American Friendship
Correct.
Day.
Yes, and the Dutch-American Friendship Day last year was with a very well-known Dutch historian and the current American ambassador. And the current American ambassador was born in the Netherlands, was raised in the US, and people just...
And unfortunately, Americans are not the best. He's very controversial, let's put it like that.
And he's not very, he was very political in taking criticism, which I thought was very well done. But the historian is known for being very controversial in his own right and saying stuff that other people won't say.
We actually did that on purpose.
The club members were divided, like, you can't say that in public to someone. It was very fun to watch.
What I want us... We need to connect actually. So,
yes.
What I want
Sorry, I
Yara
have
to do
for a second.
Sorry?
1 second, because
she's coming.
Yeah.
So at this point, we need to I want to do the exercise one more time. If everyone can stay 5 more minutes extra, is that fine? Christina?
Yeah. Then I will put the rooms in the other way around. Okay.
Yes.
I am preparing the room.
And start placing your LinkedIn profile there. Let's connect on LinkedIn, guys. So I'm gonna start.
Okay, that's a very good point. Now I have to copy paste like Veronica said.
Exactly.
So I was in another event. Instead of LinkedIn, we had to share the Instagram account.
I prefer, it depends where you are. Why I'm saying share the LinkedIn, because this is a networking and it's business oriented. LinkedIn is the platform for that. Some people are using Instagram for personal use, some for business. So some use Twitter, some use Facebook. LinkedIn everyone has. So that's me personally. Okay, so everyone please share your LinkedIn there. Let's connect on LinkedIn and let's start the second round, 2 minutes. And then I have the surprise that I promised.
Okay, now Anna, you have to share your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, I'm just logging in because I don't remember exactly.
Okay, so have the link then.
Yeah, I am opening the rooms. Now you are mixed around. Okay.
Okay.
Hi.
I need like 3 more seconds. Just finishing my sentence.
Yeah, don't we all?
Okay, so I'm so sorry we are over the time.
It's fine.
But I will take 2 more minutes to share something. I'm not going to share the PDF, the PowerPoint, but I'm going to say because it's important. We all know about how to interact, and I hope you have a better understanding and you actually learn something today, something new today that you had no idea about. Did you or did you not actually? It's important for me to know how to structure everything. Did you learn anything new today?
For me, it's an action to do. So, okay, after this, I would say, okay, good. And I will silently invite people to connect with me. And that's it.
Brilliant.
But now, so the learning is, a bit to break this border and say, hey, let's have a chat. Because at least with Exten, it was too short, so there will be a follow-up.
Exactly, and then you'll really build a connection.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you know about him, but not really know.
The very short 1 minute, I thought we need to do something together.
I felt the same way. So yes, let's talk. The thing is, for me, a lot of the stuff I know, but for me it was a reiteration, sort of like getting it sharp again. Follow up. I immediately made notes about, I did a TED talk last week about connection and how a cup of coffee can be used as a similar metaphor for connection, which I shared with you guys in the chat. So please watch it. Would love your feedback. It's still the raw thing, so there's lots of sound issues and everything else. But when the final one is there, I'll let you know. But I love this TED talk because it's so close to my heart. But a lot of people, as you were saying, left chat comments. and I never downloaded the chat comments. So I was like, I've got to go through the chat comments, go see who connected there, who talked to each other. I can maybe help them to connect, you know, sort of like, so that to me, so the session to me was really valuable. Might not have learned something excessively new, but it reaffirmed stuff for me and helped me to focus again. Thank you.
Thank you. Anna and Christina, you want to share something? What did you learn today?
I really liked the part in which we had to use different words to introduce ourselves. I think that was really smart. The rest of the information I kind of knew, but indeed just reiterating it and remembering it over and over again is a really nice way of staying in focus, basically. But the part of using a different word, was really a challenge. So that was nice. And then I think I would keep applying it in the future.
Good.
So thanks.
My pleasure. Anna, you wanted to say
yes,
something?
For me it was a very, well, as Christina said, the not using the same words was really hard, especially in such a short amount of time. And it was also a good reminder that, because I tend to connect to other, I'm a photographer, so I tend to connect with people that do the same thing as me. And that is something kind of easy, but a good reminder to move a little bit beyond the photographer world and connect with other people with very different backgrounds. And so I found it very eye-opening, so to say.
Great. I'm happy to hear that. I'm looking, like, I have the list with what I wrote, like, what do you need to learn? Did you actually get that? Did you get the value that you were expecting?
Yeah, for me, Veronica, I want to share as well. So
sorry.
is I think to use different words, maybe that's super challenge as well. You know, how you want to portray yourself. That was a very good question. And then, you know, like the chat functionality, you know, use very strategically the chat functionality, I think, and encourage people to share. If they don't do it, like encourage people to share LinkedIn links, you know, I think that's super high value. And
and I do invite you all to do it. Two more things, actually. I could talk too much about this. I'm passionate about this, actually. What you need to do with those words, take a piece of paper, actually take Post-its and start writing words that you want to be described with, or how a good friend or a customer you want to describe you. And use those words when you're introducing yourself. Start thinking a little bit differently. Stop thinking the same norm. And that will actually allow you to express your personality better and what you're doing, and be more, I'm going to use the word authentic, actually be more real. Let's use the word real, because the word authentic start changing the meaning. And this is the way to actually be able to connect and build up relationships. And the last thing that I want to share with you and leave with you is online visibility, because at this point is more important than ever. Go and make an update on LinkedIn. I actually challenge all of you after this, go and make a post about this session. You don't need to name me, you don't need to do anything, but share something that you learn, like write something about yourself. Hey, I just realized I need to network more, or whatever, or I want to meet people in a specific industry. Like Anna, you said, I'm always connecting with people in photography. Just go and say that. I want to connect with other people who would like to have a virtual coffee with me. Just go and be present there. Share your knowledge, write articles, pictures, videos, TEDx talks. Like, come on, just be present in any way that you feel comfortable. It can be Yara with podcast. Actually, this is how I met you the first time, through introductions and then through podcasts. So what you don't need to have the same recipe. If Anna, for you, pictures work best. Christina, you're write content. Extine, you just do videos maybe. If you're a from what I got to know, you're a very good presenter and orator. Do that. As soon you're connecting people, just start doing that or write about that. Be present, because you need to go out there and communicate. However, that doesn't stop there. You need to interact with the comments, like with the chats, with what people are saying. Like, share, comment, go to other people and do the same. A trick for LinkedIn is actually the moment you are posting about, like you said, let's say you are posting about today's session, tag Yara, say, thank you, Yara, for organizing this. And I heard Veronica from Spin Ideas, and the collab with community is great. And I met there Anna and Eskin and Christina. If you do that and you tag everyone there, automatically your network is increasing, because my network, we're gonna see that post. Makes sense what I'm saying here? You're increasing your reach and your visibility. So use that we have the technology actually was created, and we have these tools. We just need to use them in our advantage. And don't be afraid to do that. Create posts, engage with existing posts, tag people, and be present. And I will let you go now, but I did promise you a present, an invitation to online networking event. And Yara already shared something I'm also going to share here. It's the monthly networking event that I shared. I managed to grow it. I'm very proud of this. In the span of 4 months, with 100% participation. We had the last edition yesterday, we had 32 people. So that means you have the chance to meet new people that you haven't met. So go and register. It's free. It's just 1 hour, and be curious. Thank you for being here. And I think the only person that I need to reach out to is Anna. Hope to see you all to a virtual.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Veronica. Thank you very much. I just share in the chat the next webinar about money mindset on the next Friday, 4th of December, and then our link to the innovation tea every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Thank you very much, Veronica. I think it's super useful, all the tips about online networking. I think we need for the next years a lot of tips of how to network online.
It's not, as you said, I'm pretty sure everyone knows this. It's about how you're utilizing it and actually using it, applying it. We are not reinventing the wheel here.
So as long as we can learn from each other, we can learn so much.
Yeah,
exactly.
By the way, you talked about stories and linking things together. I'm doing something called Geek Speak, which is helping technical people to tell stories.
Okay.
And specifically, because my background is IT, I like to get nerds to talk to business people in a way that business people understand.
I like that. Super cool.
And where it actually started, I mean, with stuff that I was playing with, because I'm also a public speaker. And then I thought to myself, yeah, but where can I test this, really test this? And so I tested with the European Space Agency, with the engineers there, talking to policymakers, and they all love it, because now the policymakers are finally understanding it, and the engineers are getting actions actually being taken, and not just people talking. So
they're listening to each other. Yeah.
And they're listening to the story because the story is engaging.
Yeah. It's very important how you say a story.
And so that's basically, so there's a free session. I just don't have the link at the moment right on me, but it'll be on the website.
My invite to you, it's already in your inbox, the LinkedIn invite. So please do share the link with me there.
Yeah, okay, and actually, if you find the link, you can share.
Yes, I
will do the meeting minutes of the session.
Okay, perfect. Because
it's
a free session. All come, enjoy. I mean, we have a whole program, but the first session is always free, and so everybody can get a feel and get something of value. You know.
Really.